Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7 and Text 6. Bhagavan Eka Eva Eshaha Bhagavan Eka Evaisha Sarvakshetreshu Avastitaha Sarvakshetreshu Avastitaha Amushya Durbhagatvam Va Amushya Durbhagatvam Va Kleshaha Va Karmabhihi Kutaha Klesho Va Karmabhihi Kutaha Bhagavan Eka Evaisha Sarvakshetreshu Avastitaha Amushya Durbhagatvam Va Klesho Va Karmabhi Kutaha. Ekaha, alone, Eva Eshaha, all these, Sarva, all, Kshetreshu, in the living entities, Avastitaha, situated, Amushya, of the living entities, Durbhagatvam, misfortune, Va, either, Kleshaha, miseries, Va, are, Karma Bihi, by activities, Kutaha, what for? Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation. The Lord as the Supersoul is situated in every living being's heart. Why then do the living entities' activities result in misfortune and misery? Please repeat. The Lord as the Supersoul is situated in every living being's heart. Why then do the living entities' activities result in misfortune and misery? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The next question put forward by Vidura to Maitreya is, why are the living entities subjected to so many miseries and misfortunes in spite of the Lord's presence in their hearts as the Supersoul? The body is considered a fruitful tree, and the living entity and the Lord as Supersoul are like two birds seated in the tree. The individual soul is eating the fruit of the tree, but the Supersoul, the Lord, is witnessing the activities of the other bird. A citizen of the state may be in miseries for want of sufficient supervision by the state authority. But how can it be possible that a citizen suffers from other citizens while the chief of the state is personally present? From another point of view, it is understood that the Jiva living entity is qualitatively one with the Lord, and thus his knowledge in the pure state of life cannot be covered by nescience, especially in the presence of the Supreme Lord. How then does the living entity become subjected to ignorance and covered by the influence of Maya? The Lord is the father and protector of every living entity and is known as the Bhuta Brut, or the maintainer of the living entities. Why then should the living entity be subjected to so many sufferings and misfortunes? It should not be so, but actually we see that it happens everywhere. This question is therefore put forward by Vidura for solution. I will read the next verse myself. Etasmin me mano vidvan kidyate ajnana sankathe tannaha paranudha vibho kashmalam manasam mahat. Translation: O great and learned one, my mind is greatly illusioned by the distress of this nescience, and I therefore request you to clear it up. Purport: such mental bewilderment as represented here by Vidura takes place for some living entities, but not for everyone, for if everyone were bewildered, there would be no possibility of a solution by higher personalities. The Sanskrit Bhaktivedanta Purporto Madhyanatamirantasya Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Adipashyanta Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Vidura raises one specific question here to Maitreya. He says, Bhagavan Eka Evaisha Sarvakshetreshu Avastitaha. Sarvakshetreshu means in all the bodies, Bhagavan is Avastitaha, is situated. In all the bodies, the Lord is situated. Of course, that form is called Supersoul. So when Lord is personally present, Amushya, the living entities, Durbhagatvam, why there is misfortune for them? Krishna is personally present in each and every body. So when the Lord is personally present like that, then how can there be Durbhagatvam, misfortune, va kleshaha, miseries? Why there is misfortune and miseries? Karma bihi, by their activities. So living entities are continuously acting in this world. As we discussed in the last verse, because we are situated in a special energy, a specific energy of the Lord, that is called karma samnaya, avidya karma samnaya. We are all situated in a very specific energy of the Supreme Lord. This is also called Tritiya Shakti Rishate. It's the third potency of the Supreme Lord, and that is called the material energy. Material energy is called karma samnaya. That means everybody has to work. One symptom of this world is that everybody has to work, even for maintenance. That is how the world is designed, the energy it works like that. Nobody can sit quietly for even 1 minute, and if somebody doesn't work, he cannot maintain his life. This is this energy. This is completely different from the spiritual energy which is operating in the spiritual world, and in that energy nobody works hard. In the spiritual energy there is no working like this for maintenance. There is nothing called hard work. There it is described in Brahma Samhita. Every step is like a dance. Every word is like a song. They are always jubilant like that. Here we nowadays hardly people smile. Because so much of hard work, misfortune and klesha, misery. Just now we have seen 3 years of misery in the shape of a pandemic, and the third wave is not so, fortunately not so. That means within Durbhagatvam, misfortune, there is little fortune. It is not so heavy. This world works like that. We will be dipped inside the water, dunked inside the water. And when I am struggling for breathing, I will be taken out. Then I will say, yes. But actually, Maya is still there, trying to push you back. So second wave really beaten us up. We were grasping for breath, literally. And then the third wave has come. It is not so heavy. So we are all feeling little relief. Meanwhile, a war began. Between Ukraine and Russia, there is a war going on now. It may not escalate into a third world war, but if it does so, then it's a very big misfortune and klesha, misery. So in this world, difficult to predict what happens. Very, very difficult. The example is given is like a forest. Where will the forest fires suddenly come up? Nobody can predict. Now, during this summer, on the Tirumala hills, suddenly you will see some forest fire, and you can see smoke coming out from some corner of the forest. Our temple is close by, so you can see some smoke coming out here and there, here and there. That means there is a forest fire going on there. So it's like that. It's difficult to predict. Where will the air rubs 2 branches of a tree, and those 2 branches, because of the friction, fire comes. So similarly, this world is compared to a forest, and then there is a dhavanala, there is a forest fire, and 2 branches, like Ukraine and Russia, there is a friction, and immediately there is a fire. They are fighting, and then we really don't know what will happen. It's like that. Always is like that. 2 people, 3 people, 2 communities. There is a friction, and then that becomes a fire. So here, the question is, Bhagavan Eka Eva Isha. The question is, if the Lord is present, Sarva Kshetresha Avastitha, when He is personally present, then why is this misfortune? If the Lord is present like that, then why is there a friction like this? So Prabhupada, in the purport, he raises 3 questions. One is that a citizen of the state may be in miseries for want of sufficient supervision by the state authority. But how can it be possible that a citizen suffers from another citizens while the chief of the state is personally present? This is the first question. Okay, friction between 2 or some two communities or two states that is creating the fire, there is a misery, is bringing misfortune, so that is there. But then when the chief of the state is personally present, how can such things happen? Take for example, as an example, say the Prime Minister is personally present. So how can there be a friction, or there is a misery between two citizens? How can one citizen attack the other citizen right in front of the Prime Minister? How is this possible? Of course, Kali Yuga, if Prime Minister is there, there won't be any citizens, they will be driven away. But let us say there is, Prime Minister is there and citizens are there, and then in front of Prime Minister they are fighting. How is this possible? So similarly, Lord is Sarvakshetreshu Avastitaha, He is present in all the Kshetras. So when He is personally present, how is it that some living entity can attack this living entity and then this living entity has to suffer? This is the first question. And one more thing is that the living entity is qualitatively one with the Lord. It is pure, it is full of knowledge, qualities are there. Then how is it that it is covered by nescience? Right in front of the Supreme Lord. Lord is present, then how is it possible that the living entity can come under the nescience, come under illusion like this, right in front of the eyes of the Supreme Lord? And then the final one is, how then does the living entity be? Krishna is known as, He is the father and protector, He is known as Bhuta Brut, He is the maintainer. Then why then should be living entity be subjected to so many sufferings and misfortunes? If He is maintaining, Lord is the personal maintainer, then how can there be misfortune and misery? So Vidura's question is actually divided into these three. When Lord is personally present, how can there be mischief by other living entities? How can there be covering by illusion? And how can there be suffering like this? These are the questions Vidura is asking. So here one important point is, this world is compared to Kshetra. Similarly, our body is also compared to Kshetra. For a living entity, our body, this is a Kshetra. Kshetra, Kshetrajnayo Jnanam. Idam Jnanam Matham Mama. So, our body is compared to a Kshetra. Kshetra means like an agricultural field. It's a field. So now, whether the field, agricultural field, you put a seed, then fruits will come, flowers will come. Sometimes cactus can come, thorny plants can come, or very sweet fruits can come, or fruits like dragon fruit and all those things, it can come. So similarly, this body is a field, and this body also produces fruits. That's why Prabhupada is saying it's a fruitful tree. The body is considered a fruitful tree, a tree which produces fruits. Now what kind of fruits this body can produce, it depends on the seed. What are you sowing inside? So like a farmer, he sows the seeds, rice, wheat, like that, some flowers, some fruits. Similarly, our body also, we have the capacity to sow certain seeds. Radha Govinda ki jai. So, if somebody sows the seeds of some pious seeds, then the body produces a pious result. And if somebody plants an impious seed, actually whatever we do in this world, the seeds are being planted. We are continuously planting these seeds. And those seeds will mature over a period of time and finally produce a result. This is called karma bandhana. This is how the destiny is determined. We are continuously planting seeds in our kshetra from a much bigger kshetra called this world. So kshetra is also called field of activities. These are all fundamentals in Krishna consciousness. It's a field of activity. The jiva cannot go beyond this field of activity. It is the field where it can do some activities. So, many times we discuss, let us say you're going in an auto or a car, your vehicle on the road, and then you see there is a big billboard with an advertisement, an attractive advertisement. The moment you see, there is an impression. There is an impression, and if you are attracted a little bit, it will be planted as a seed. So as soon as there is a seed, then comes the next phase. They are all waiting for some watering. And then how does the watering happen? Next time when you see again a similar advertisement. That's why you see on the divider, this vertical advertisements will be there on the divider, road ka beech mein. Continuously you will see the same ad, tuck, 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 tuck. Sometimes you will be thinking, why one board is sufficient, no, why he has put 100 boards, same thing, but different pictures. Different poses he will put, the same thing. By the time you see all the 100, you will have a very deep, the root has already started sprouting and becomes a big tree. So this is how we are continuously planting these seeds in our kshetra, and one day those seeds will reap fruits. The jiva reaps the fruits and then he eats also. The fruit can be sweet, the fruit can be bitter, fruit can be very, very klesha, creating misery. So this is how we are living in this world. Most of all these seeds can be categorized into three primary categories. One is called karma bijas, one more is the jnana bijas, one more is the yoga bija. Mostly we will be collecting only the karma bijas, that means the bijas which will result in some fruit. Jnana karmadi anavrutam is bhakti. Bhakti means it is neither a karma bija, jnana or a yoga. Let us say you are going again and the big billboard talks, shows some nice yogasana, and then it shows, it will remove so and so from. You are getting a yoga bija. You get attracted, yes, I should do that. And then again you get busy with your work and this, and then again after 2 days you will see the same board. Then you will feel, yes, I should do something. And then you start doing it. Yes, you got some bija through which you started doing yogasanas. And sometimes it is about very gross pleasures, karma bijas. And sometimes some anandas, they put some boards, chapter 13, Bhagavad Gita, the anandas will give classes on Bhagavad Gitas. They are all showing jnana bijas, speculation. They sit and discuss When Krishna is saying, here in Bhagavad Gita, he clearly says, what he says, Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Here Krishna is also confirming, sarva kshetreshu bharata, I am situated in all the bodies. Same thing Vidura is also asking, sarva kshetreshu avasthita. But he is not questioning whether Lord is present or not. He is asking a higher question. He is saying, if he is present, then why is the living entity suffering? What is he doing? So here, Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu. In all the kshetras I am present. So now, these Mayavadis, they don't take this meaning, direct meaning. They will sit whole day and they will be thinking, Kshetrajnam cha api mam viddhi. Cha means also, but they don't consider that. They'll say cha means this, cha means that, cha cha. This is whole day they will be calculating like this. From morning till night, dhukrun karane, simply grammatical jugglery. That's what Prabhupada says. Cha means this, mam means this, kshetra means this, jnam means this, sarva means this, kshetreshu, like this they will be studying the whole day. This is jnana bija. Ananda classes will be inspiring people to go for jnana bija. But sometimes you may get bhakti bijas also. You may pick up some interest in bhakti, but mostly they're all covered by jnana and karma. They're not pure bhakti bijas. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad Bhakti Latha Bij. Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about a very special bija, a seed of devotion which is free from jnana karmadi. That bija, very, very rare. Kona Bhagyavan, very rare to obtain such a bija. You can get all other bijas. So much kgs you can get. Whole day you are picking up that only. That's why Prabhupada says, again, evening you come back, attend Arati, read something, wash off all those bijas. Whatever little bit you have gained, affinity to all these bijas throughout the day, come back in the night and nicely take a bath, read, cleanse the dust. This is the dust. All these bijas are sitting like dust. And they are going to bring future misery and misfortune. We'll be thinking, oh, today I am very fortunate, I came to know about one yoga posture. But actually you are bringing misfortune to yourself. Maybe 1 or 2 years we can live little more healthily, but then ultimately the cycle continues. It is so difficult to get Bhakti Latha Bija, which has been offered by Prabhupada. Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Latha Bija. So difficult. Why is that? This is also bhakti. There is so much bhakti around us. We'll see this bhakti is jnana karma dhyanavrutam. There is no tinge of karma, there is no tinge of jnana. That means what? That means Guru is saying, render devotional service without any expectation of a fruit. If I do this arati, I'll get that benefit. If I worship this demigod, I'll get that benefit. This is the mood of the people. If I worship Saraswati, I'll get some educational boons. If I worship Ganapati, then I'll get this. Similarly, they may go to Balaji. If I worship Balaji, then I'll get a lot of money. I will put 50% in the undi. Out of all this, approaching Balaji or Narasimha or Krishna for, some material benefit is encouraged. Is also considered pious. But that's not the highest. That is not the highest. Somebody may go to Balaji, Tirumala for some 10 years, 15 years. 16th year, let us say, he doesn't get the money, what he is asking for. 17th year, he will not go. This is the devotion which is contaminated by karma tendencies. That's why Acharya, he has given jnana karma adi. And then jnana means all kinds of people, they give classes on who Balaji is. They give classes on Vishnu, they give classes on, Vishnu Tattva, but they have no idea. They have no belief that actually such a person exists. They have no belief. Atheistic people, appearing to be religious people, put all kinds of symbols on their foreheads, wearing threads, this and that, but actually they are atheistic in heart. Mahaprabhu makes it very clear. Bauddhaya nastik. Buddhists are actually atheists. But then more dangerous than Buddhists are these Mayavadis, who are prachanna Buddhism. They are covered Buddhists, covered atheists. Why covered? Because they will decorate nicely like Anandas, have all the coatings, put all this thing, there will be a thread, there will be all kind appearance, and then they quote slokas, they talk from Vedas, they quote Upanishads. This is what they do. And they also cover up bhakti, or they cover up the actual position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, that's why it is so rare to get such a bija, and Shastra advises that anybody who receives such bija should very with great care, one has to nurture. He should not waste any more time. He understood the path. Jnana karmadi anavrutam rushikena rushikesha sevanam bhakti rucha uttama. What we got from Prabhupada is the uttama bhakti bija. So one has to culture that, nurture that strongly, so that he can attain the desired fruit. Here also there is a fruit, phala, but that is not belonging, that phala is not of this world. That phala is from the spiritual world. The Bhaktilata bija grows and takes shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And love of Godhead is the fruit that it brings to the practitioner. So one has to, just to conclude, here when Krishna says Sarvakshetreshu avasthita, that means Lord is present in all the bodies, and we are present only in this body. One understanding from this is that since I am present in this body, only I know what is happening in this body. Only I know what is happening in my mind, my emotions, my body. Only I will know. Only you will know what is going on in your body, in your mind, and in your kshetra. But I will not come to know. I have absolutely no idea what is going on in your kshetra, in your mind, in all your emotions. Why? Because I am only a kshetrajna within my body, and you are a kshetrajna within your body. But many times we try to predict what is going on in the other's mind. He is thinking like that about me. He feels like that about me. Sometimes we may think, why he doesn't know? He knows everything, but still there is no help for me. He knows everything. Now all these things are ignorance. Only you know what is going on in your kshetra. Lord knows, and you know. So that's why one has to be very careful not to speculate. This is jnanic contamination. Not to speculate about what's going on in other's mind or other's body, what emotions are going on, is not possible. That's why we should ask, seek help, or we should ask clarification. Don't conclude just by seeing by your eyes. Seek clarification, ask clarification, or ask for help. This is a proper method to ensure that there is no friction between two individuals, or there is no friction between two communities. So we will see the question that is asked by Vidura. It is appearing as a Vivara. We will see Maitreya answering and giving answers to Vidura's questions. We'll stop here. Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133